August 9, 1942, an SS officer steps into a humid, quiet locker room in occupied Kyiv. Speaking fluent Russian, he delivers a clear ultimatum to the local soccer team: lose the match or face the consequences. The Ukrainian players lacing up their cleats understood exactly what that meant. Stepping onto the pitch and winning the game would almost certainly guarantee a firing squad. They were starving, exhausted, and vastly outgunned. Yielding would have been the easiest way to survive. Yet they made a different choice. What was meant to be a routine athletic exhibition had become the one place in Kyiv where the occupied could openly confront the occupier. To understand why a soccer match carried lethal stakes, we have to look at the city itself. By late 1941, Kyiv was suffocating under Nazi occupation. Mass starvation had set in, and the city's institutions were reduced to rubble. The German command needed a way to project an illusion of peace and Aryan superiority. Their solution was to organize a local soccer league, intending to show the occupied citizens a return to normalcy under the Third Reich. They did not realize who was hiding among the local labor force. Inside Kyiv Bakery No. 1, displaced citizens were working brutal hours. Among these malnourished bakers were former superstar athletes from the elite Dynamo and Lokomotiv Kyiv clubs. Quietly, these battered local heroes pooled their mismatched gear and formed a brand new squad. They called themselves FC Start. For the bakers of FC Start, the tournament offered a chance to reclaim their identity as athletes and challenge the image of a broken, subservient population. FC Start dismantled the Axis military teams, crushing a Hungarian garrison 6-2 and a German artillery team 7-1. Their rising morale line mirrored the falling prestige of the German military. For Kyiv, every goal proved their occupiers could be defeated. Furious, the Nazi command flew in Flak-Elf, an elite squad composed of well-fed Luftwaffe pilots and anti-aircraft crews, to publicly crush the Ukrainians. But on August 6th, FC Start defeated Flak-Elf 5-1. The embarrassment prompted the German command to demand an immediate rematch just 3 days later. The Nazis' own propaganda tool had backfired. To protect their narrative of absolute superiority, they were now preparing to stack the deck with lethal consequences. When the teams arrived at Zenit Stadium on August 9th, the atmosphere was suffocating. Heavy military cordons surrounded the field. A German referee was appointed to ensure a Reich victory. The ideological clash began before the ball was even in play. The Germans raised their arms in the standard Heil Hitler salute. The Ukrainians refused, raising their arms instead to shout the Soviet sports slogan, Viz Kultura. Once the whistle blew, the match devolved into unchecked brutality. German players tackled violently, driving cleats into shins while the referee looked the other way. The violence was targeted. The Ukrainian goalkeeper was kicked directly in the head and left temporarily unconscious on the grass. Despite the physical beatings and the intense psychological pressure, athletic talent held the line. By halftime, FC Start had secured a 3-2 lead. As the second half wore on, the Ukrainians continued to dominate, setting the stage for a pivotal interception by defender Alexei Klemenko. Klemenko took the ball and danced past the entire German defense. He didn't stop there. He bypassed the opposing goalkeeper, leaving the German squad entirely out of position. Standing alone on the goal line with a wide-open net, Klemenko made his choice. Instead of tapping the ball in for another point, he turned around and booted it back to the center of the pitch. Shortly after, the final whistle blew. FC Start had secured a 5-3 victory, completing an improbable upset. By turning back from the goal, Klemenko transformed a sporting victory into a public rejection of the regime's authority. For decades, Soviet propaganda painted a dramatized picture of the aftermath. The myth claimed the players were lined up in their jerseys and executed by a firing squad directly on the pitch as soon as the whistle blew. The historical reality is different. The players left the stadium alive, returned to their shifts at the bakery, and even won another match days later. But the Gestapo was biding its time. On August 18th, they descended on the bakery. The players were arrested on accusations of being secret agents and subjected to lethal torture. This delayed retaliation reveals a very specific kind of cruelty. The German command could not execute them in front of a crowd without creating martyrs, but they refused to let such blatant defiance go unpunished. The surviving players were eventually sent to the Syrets concentration camp. In early 1943, following a local partisan attack, the camp commander ordered a brutal wave of retaliatory executions. 3 of FC Star's star players, including the goalkeeper Mykola Trusevich, were lined up and shot. These men knew the lethal stakes before they ever stepped onto the grass for that rematch. They weighed the options and chose honor over survival. Today, they are immortalized as heroes in Kyiv. Memorials stand in the city to honor the men tied to what is now known as the deadliest game in football history. The game remains a record of what happened when a group of men, given a choice between their lives and their dignity, refused to follow the script their captors had written.